Swimmers and swammers, welcome. Chris Ritter from Surge Strength. And I would like to talk with you about our two most popular offerings, our Dryland programs and becoming Surge Strength Dryland certified. Let's talk about the programs first, because that's how Surge Strength actually started. It was helping master swimmers, and this is all the way back in the late 2000s when the iPhone was still coming out. Apps are still a thing. I didn't even send workouts remotely through an app. I had to use an Excel sheet and a private YouTube channel to get our first couple of swimmers started. But since then, we've gone through many different technology changes. And even though we're leveraging what I think is the best technology out there and at the cutting edge of it, I don't consider us a technology company. I consider us a coaching and support technology that helps swimmers do better in the water because they have Dryland programming from us. And it just so happens that now we send it via app all around the world. We're working with swimmers. Almost every time zone we have a swimmer now. It's pretty awesome. So let's talk about what our Dryland programs actually are. So it's for swimmers of all levels. I would say the youngest is probably 11, 12, 13 range. And that kind of goes by individual basis. And then we work with swimmers all the way up into their 80s. I'm hoping for the next, our first swimmer that'll be in their 90s. Right now, we're currently working with some swimmers in their 70s and nearing 80s, where they have goals to break world records in the 90-year-old age group category for master swimming. I cannot wait for something like that. That's so cool that we get to be a part of it at Surge Strength. But the programs are helping swimmers of any level just get better at swimming. So we're not turning you into an Olympic weightlifter or training you like how football would in the weight room. No, we understand that swimming is what you love. It's what you want to get better at. And so we're going to figure out the best Dryland and strength training program for you, no matter where you are in terms of level of experience with weights and Dryland, or if you've had a lot of experience and you just need a fresh look at your program. Wherever you fall within that spectrum, we're here to help you with that. And we deliver it in an online, remote way via app so we can reach as many people as possible. And when you sign up with the Dryland program with us, you get a dedicated Dryland certified coach as well. So this is different than the free Dryland 101 courses that we offer in the Surge Strength Academy. And if you haven't, I highly encourage you to go to our website, surgestrength.com, and then you can register for a free 101 course in the Academy to get a little bit more understanding of how we approach Dryland and specifically how we've gotten so much results over the years now. But our Dryland program specifically is different from the other 101 courses in the Academy because it's completely customized to your specific needs, including your goals, training ability. What's your training schedule look like? Are you training at home? What kind of equipment do you have? Do you have a gym that you go to where you have endless options there? Whatever the case is, we're going to figure out the best program for you and your situation. Also, it's very interactive and collaborative. So don't sign up thinking that you won't hear from us for a few months and we're just going to send you some workouts and push them through an app and you'll get a notification. We want to engage with you on a fairly regular basis. And that's part of the secret sauce of why we've had so much success over the years. It's not us just jamming a Dryland program down your throat and hoping everything works out and, cross our fingers we don't have injuries on our hand. No. This is, let's see where you're at athletically, physically, and mobility-wise, and then let's set up a program for that to help you get better and better. And that's part of you giving us feedback. How's the program going? How are you liking the exercise? If something's not working with you, let us know. We're able to change that. So it's very much collaborative and interactive process. And the key to that is your Dryland certified coach that you get, a dedicated one too. And they're thinking about how do I best support you as a swimmer as much as possible. So it's not some drill sergeant where they're going to be sending you nasty texts or something like that. Yes, sometimes you may need a little kick or a little pep talk to get going, but we always do it in a supportive, encouraging way from that. And the results, frankly, speak for themselves now, doing it for this long, this many years, going on multiple decades now at this point. So the actual Dryland program, it's updated on a weekly basis via a secure and private workout app that only you and your Dryland certified coach have access to. So no one can be snooping around on your programs, so don't be worried about that. And you can also communicate with your Dryland coach through the app as well, going back to how important communication and collaboration is in that. You get 2 times a month video calls with your Dryland certified coach, and I encourage you to set those up on basically an every other week basis. So that way, not a lot of time ever passes before you and your Dryland coach sync up to make sure, are the workouts really going the way they intended it? Because our coaches can write really great workouts and they may think that, oh, this is going to be great. But then maybe you go to the gym and they change the equipment around or they move something and now it doesn't work. No worries. We'll go back to the drawing board and rework that. We're always improving the program as it goes. It's not a static thing by anything. It's an evolving, living organism, if you will, your Dryland program. And the hope is that because we're so adaptive, we're going to get you the best results the quickest way possible in the safest manner as well. And part of that is doing regular reassessments throughout the season. So when you first onboard, we do a very comprehensive movement assessment and performance test onboarding process. But then we're going to revisit that every now and then too to make sure we're on the right track and we're not missing anything. All your Dryland workouts too are very flexible for if you have equipment changes, maybe you're traveling, especially around taper time. We're really going to hone in on what is going to best help you perform at your best when you need to be at those championship meets. So if you're ready to get started, if you're interested in something like this, simply go to our website, surgestrength.com. Fill out the form. It's just a couple just quick information pieces, take you less than a minute to do. And then you can schedule a Zoom call with me where we'll talk about it. It's just audio only. So just we're on the phone talking there. And then we'll work through what are the details of your program. What are you needing from a Dryland program? And can we make sure we're a good fit? Believe it or not, there's sometimes I'll say, I don't think we're a good fit. You need to go look somewhere else. So I want to make sure that people that come on board with us, it's really going to be a good match and we're going to have success through that. But once you get your questions answered, you can sign up right there on the spot. We offer monthly payments, so no contracts or commitments, or you can sign up for an annual commitment and have a pretty hefty discount as well. So once you decide to sign up, here's what that onboarding process looks like. So you can pay when we're on the call right then to get access to the Surge Strength Academy onboarding program. In there, you'll be watching all your assessment and testing videos. It's 13 in total. If you go to the gym and knock it out, it'll probably take you 10 or maybe closer to 20 to 30 minutes tops to get through all of them, making sure you film it right, everything's in frame, all of that. Then you're going to share those files with your Dryland certified coach. All the details of how to do this are in the actual onboarding program in the academy. So don't worry, you're not missing any details. I'm just giving you broad strokes here on this. But once you share the files with your Dryland certified coach, that allows you to then set up your first onboarding call. It's an hour-long video Zoom call. And the first half of that call is focused on looking at, okay, where are you at today? What did the Dryland certified coach see in your movement assessments and performance tests? Maybe your core was really weak. Maybe you had a shoulder issue. Maybe you have back pain. Whatever the case may be, they're going to walk through what they're seeing in the videos. And then that's a great time for you to give feedback as well and start that collaboration process. The second half of the call shifts the focus to the future of what your Dryland program is going to look like, at least for the next 4 to 8 weeks. I'd also encourage you to know it's probably going to take a month or 2, maybe even 3 sometimes, to feel like you're finally in a rhythm and a sync in terms of the Dryland certified coach understanding where you're at, what your preferences are, what you do well, what you maybe struggle with, and then also you giving feedback to them. So although we want to get results on a quick manner, we want to do it safely. We're not putting you at injury risk or a greater risk of injury. And at the same time, we're looking at the long picture. What happens when we stack season upon season of you working with us? We can get some really amazing results, and we've seen it time and time again, and it's always exciting to see. But once you get through that video call, you can expect your first workout in a day or 2 turnaround via the app, and then you'll start reporting back to your Dryland certified coach on how they're going. Now, who are these programs not for? And believe it or not, I do turn people away if I don't think they're going to be a good fit, because at that point, it's not fun for anybody in that transaction. But if you're not interested in regularly communicating with us, if you're going to sign up and then ghost us for 2 months, please don't even bother filling out the form. Believe it or not, people will pay us and then just ghost us for a few months and then complain that their program isn't as good. We need communication. It goes both ways. We are here for you. We're going to give you the most support and best Dryland program possible, but that means you need to then turn back and communicate with us of how it's going. Also, if you're just looking for some workouts to make you tired, sweaty, cheap cookie cutter workouts, that is not what we do, and our prices reflect that. So probably good to go find some free resources out there on the internet if that's what you're looking for. Also, if you're not interested in just what the value of Dryland can bring you, whether that's the specific Dryland dedicated coach for you, or what it can do for you in the water in terms of magnifying the training results. If you're just looking for workouts to get tired, all these things are kind of red flags for me of it's not going to work out for you. And we've done this enough times that I can see who's going to be successful with us or not pretty quickly. And if you're not, I'll be very honest with you because I don't want to waste my time with it either. Here's just one example of a cool story I'll always treasure in that this college freshman, he was so excited. He finally got a scholarship. He's in college swimming collegiately, but he hadn't had best times for years. So we started working with him. Here you see single leg deadlift with the barbell, 155 pounds. That allowed him to strengthen his legs so that he only needed to take 4 strokes on the first lap of his 100. Absolutely crushed his lifetime best time on that. And then we work with older swimmers as well. So 50s, 60s, 70s, like I said, 80s and 90s is what I'm hoping to see. But here's a master swimmer we worked with really early on. And over the course of 2+ years, we got him from not even able to do pull-ups. So he's doing drop-down pull-ups to doing chest pull-up. He's pulling the bar to his chest for pull-ups with 55 pounds around his waist. Really awesome. And not only did that allow him to win a bunch of really cool races, even at the international level, hanging with ex-Olympians, that's pretty cool at that point, but also just enjoying life more, feeling like his body moves and responds to him in a much better way. So I want to roll a video now of a bunch of other testimonials from swimmers, coaches, and parents that have worked with us. I'll see you on the flip side of that.
Well, she kind of went all in from the get-go. As a parent, you wonder if, is she going to do this program that we've kind of signed up for? And she did. She really wanted to get better in the pool and stronger and faster. So I just kind of stepped back and she, went head first into the program. She was faithful to do the workouts. I guess initially, we weren't swimming as much in the beginning, like when she began to work with Ann. And so it wasn't until a little bit later, at the meets that I kind of noticed, some incremental improvements. And she really ended on, just a fantastic note at the age group state meet.
I cut a lot of time at state.
Yeah.
Going into the meet, I wanted to get at least one top three, and I got that on my 100 breast. And over the whole season, I think I cut 5 seconds on my 100 breast.
She had some huge time drops at the state meet, at state championship in February, across the board. It just wasn't that there was one stroke. You could tell that she was stronger overall across the board. It was really, really impressive as far as I'm concerned. How well she did. And of course, that's a combination of everything. She's got a great coach and they have a great Dryland program, but just working with Ann on some specific things that were tailored for her and the areas where she needed individually a little bit of improvement, just kind of, was just the perfect recipe for her to have success at the state championship this past February.
It was an amazing meet. That was the most amount of time I've cut in so long. And I'm pretty sure I might have gotten one quad A. And I'm like a second off my futures in my 100 breast. So I'm hoping to get that. And then I cut 6 seconds on my 200 IM. And over the whole season, I probably cut 12 seconds on my 200 breast, which was crazy.
Dryland is this secret weapon. I believe those are your words, actually, Chris. But no, having this personalized program, that speaks to what Kelly said about, in addition to what Mallory's already doing with her club program, having that personalization specific to her movements and to her goals has been the game changer. And I believe that's true for not just individuals, but also teams.
Mallory, what would you say to other swimmers maybe around your age and maybe in your situation of haven't had some best times in a while, or like, hey, I got goals, I want to get here, a little frustrated. What would you say to them?
I feel like it's really important for the swimmer to put in the work, not just the coach. And if you do what they're telling you, and if it's like built specifically for you, especially, that it's a really good thing to do, especially for this, because it's so personalized and it changes throughout the months. And
You felt like you got a bonus coach here with Ann, I'm sure, this past season.
Yes, sir.
Kelly, about you? What would you say specifically maybe to other parents that are in similar situations, right? They have a kid that's putting in hard work. It's not that they're slacking, but, the results aren't coming like maybe they were a couple seasons ago.
Well, I tell you, Chris, I'll admit I was skeptical at first. I mean, I thought, how in the world could there be anything else this child could do? Because she's such a hard worker anyways, that would help. But I tell you, I'm a believer now. I am. If you have a child that is motivated, because like Mallory said and Ann said, the child has to put in the work. But I just have nothing but good things to say about this program. Not only, the individualized workouts that helped her to reach her goals and helped her to kind of give her that extra edge in the pool, but just the encouragement that Ann gave her. I mean, just always asking her, what are you working on in the pool? What are your goals? And Ann, like she said, Ann kind of let Mallory drive the direction they went. Ann gave her the workouts that were, just perfect for what she needed to work on. But also she was so encouraging. I mean, if even for that aspect, I would highly recommend, the program. I just was really, really, really impressed with, this program that you've built, and with Ann specifically as her kind of extra coach.
You guys have the assessment that you do with them, and it was kind of fun to see what his deficiencies and strengths were, right? So it was, things that we didn't even realize were a deficiency were there, right? And that was kind of a neat way to kind of see where the strength actually lies and where the power is and where it isn't. And
do you remember any of those that jumped out to you that surprised you one way or another?
No, I think it was his legs is still is one of the, the things he's got to work on. So leg strength, but he's pretty strong. But there's more thing to be gained there. His upper body seems to be pretty good, and his flexibility in his upper body seems to be pretty good. Oh, so those are his lower body flexibility is a couple pieces that he need to work on. But those were his limitations.
The program, it was actually pretty awesome. I got to do a bunch of different stuff than I would normally do, and it would just work like I get the sets, I do the sets, yeah. I get sets again. It's always different, and it's been really fun.
What we did see was increasing his range of motion. I mean, I definitely saw a lot of work with his yoga, which was kind of nice to see that flexibility coming in there. Mm-hmm. So that was a nice addition to his workout. We've never really done anything like that. It helped zen him out and kind of center him a little bit too, which was kind of nice.
Now, seeing the difference of like what a personalized program has been able to help you do with what Sam put together with the Surge Strength program, what would you say if they're thinking about, maybe filling out the form and checking us out?
I would say at first it's going to be hard, but it'll be great. It's almost never the same. Every week it's something's different, and it's fun. Honestly, it's fun.
That's awesome. Dad, what about from your perspective as a parent?
I thought it was fantastic. I mean, it was a good way to see him improve, and it was it took something off my plate, which was great because honestly, my wife and I both have to take care of our daughter and take care of the house and everything else and work. So it was an extra added thing on top of our daily grind, and so it was great to have a professional be able to step in and help out. And the improvements he made are way beyond what I would have been able to get him. So that's absolutely the truth, and it was a great value and worth my time and worth our time as a family.
Patty, do you remember what your reaction was when you busted out however many pull-ups when you made that big jump, whatever? What was your mindset maybe at the start of testing? Do you remember how many pull-ups you did initially when you did the testing?
Like a half.
Okay. So you knew it wasn't a strength of yours. So what was it like to see that kind of improvement? That's a short amount of time to go from, basically 0 to 6 pull-ups.
I know. Well, I was just excited. I was proud of myself because I had put in the work. So I was excited to see what happened. It happened a lot faster than I thought, but it felt worth it to do all of those pull-up sets that Sarah will write for me. And so it was exciting to be able to do it this time, without assistance, and to be able to do that many was great. Especially going into practices, my pull used to be pretty weak. Like I was definitely a kick oriented swimmer. And so now going into pull sets, like I'm able to stay on the fastest interval where I usually swim with my lane mates instead of having to move down. And now I've like seen a ton of progress with that. Like I've been able to do like hundreds pull continuously on like hitting 105s. I never used to be able to do that. I would go like 112s and like be just like dying. So it's been really exciting, and it has given me a lot of confidence, like every day just going into practice.
Are you squatting and deadlifting now, if you don't mind saying?
I think I'm squatting. I want to say when we like worked it out, my 1 rep max for my squat was like 185. Does that sound right? And then my deadlift now is like, when we calculated it was like 165, something like that around.
And this is no strength training prior to 6 months ago.
No, nothing. My team practices every afternoon from 5 to 7, and then we'll have like a couple morning practices a week. But what I'll usually end up doing is I go straight from school to the gym, which is like 15 minutes from where I go to school. And then my workouts usually take about 45 minutes to an hour-ish, which is like the perfect amount of time for me to go from the gym to my practice, which is about like 30 minutes in between. So it's good because I have like that 30 minutes to like eat and like hang out and, get it, feel it out a little bit more before I go get in the pool. And then from then I'll just go home. So it did take some adjusting, trying to figure out the timing of everything, but it works out well. And so I'll do 3 sessions in the gym a week.
Why it's beneficial to connect with Surge Strength to get a custom online Dryland program? I mean, we've heard your experience, obviously your improvement, but personally, like what would you say to other swimmers or parents that are thinking about doing this?
I mean, Sarah, like she gets it because she was a swimmer. Like she understands when I'm complaining about how hard practice is, like what I'm saying. She knows that like when I go to the gym, things might be like, there's certain moves where she's like, if it's awkward, just like, don't do it. And so like stuff like that makes it really personal. And she knows like my strengths and my weaknesses in the pool. Like we've gone over it. So she knows, this certain swim specific move will give me an advantage, like maybe just in my streamline and stuff like that, that I don't think I could get from an outside source who didn't have such like an in-depth knowledge of the sport.
You're doing swim workouts in the morning, right? And then afterwards coming back and doing your Dryland. I can tell you, after a distance workout in the pool, I'm not in the mood to do Dryland. How are you motivating yourself to do this kind of schedule?
Yeah, so I'd say for one, like Sarah and me come up with a really like great program, and it's really fun to do, and it's different every day, every week. And so I really enjoy doing it. And second, I just say, when I don't feel like doing it and when I feel, burnout or something like that, I kind of just remember my goals and like what I'm going to swim in college, like I'm going to get faster. And I think the key is like being disciplined and just like holding yourself accountable for your promises that you make to yourself. We do 2 calls every month. And, some of them are just like checkups, how are you doing? How's this program going? Is there anything we need to change? And then like we'll also like work together to create things that I want to do. So something I really enjoy is like Olympic lifting. And so I told her that, and she like makes sure she incorporates it. And we always do different fun exercises that are really fun. I think it took a little bit longer to, kind of like see those results. Especially in the 4 a.m., I think it's just like a kind of like slow and steady race. Every day I'm in the weight room, I'm getting a little bit better. And so I think it's not something that's going to happen super quickly. But I can definitely tell, especially on my fly part of my IM. And, one of my races that got really good this year is my 2 fly. And I feel like just like strength training is a help fly so much, because I feel like that's like, it takes like the most amount of strength, I guess. I don't really know, but yeah. So I feel like it's really helped me on fly.
Yeah, especially going from 1 pull-up to 7, like that's a huge difference coming back on whether it's the last 25 or last 50. I mean, that's where the arms are just dying, right? And the piano's starting to come down and you're like, I just need to get to that wall. That's got to be a huge help for you to feel like you can dig in a little bit more and get the water there. So has the 2 fly like become more of an enjoyable event now because you found that strength?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. Yeah, I feel like it's more fun to train as well. Like before it used to be a little bit harder, but now it's a little bit easier, in my opinion. This season I started with a 210 and I dropped down to a 203 by the end of the season. So that was just in this season.
That's awesome, Landry. That's awesome. So talk to us about, you mentioned goals at University of Houston, and you might know what you're majoring in. How did you think doing strength training, I guess we're the past year and a half kind of leading up to when you're going to go into college, how's that helped set you up for success, do you think, in the college level?
Yeah. So when I went on my college visits, when we go meet the weight coach, they like ask us, like who has like experience with like lifting, and has anyone done like Olympic lifting or stuff like that? And so I, of course, like raised my hand for both those. I was like, yeah, like I definitely can. So I feel like it gives you like a really good baseline because, some of the kids haven't lifted, some of the kids haven't done Olympic lifting, but, I do snatches and cleans. And so I feel like I have a good baseline for technique. And I send my form to Sarah and she critiques me. So yeah, I feel like a good baseline for college.
The biggest thing, at least initially and ongoing, is the variety. You get tired, or we get tired of swimming 6 days a week, and I just like doing some different things throughout the week. So that's one reason. The other is I think it really helps not only with my swimming, the strength, but it also helps with just my general overall what I call lifestyle fitness. And Bernie and I aren't the spring chickens we used to be anymore. And we've talked a lot with Sarah about incorporating exercises into our program that are, designed to maintain our physical well-being as we move into, old age at some point in the future. Things about like balance, doing exercises and working muscles that we normally don't use. And I think that's been very, very helpful. And, that's one of the primary reasons that, I think we keep going with it. I will say Sarah has been absolutely wonderful working with us on, creating the variety, creating the types of things that we need. And, Bernie and I are really pleased with the way and the direction things are going. And I'll have to admit, when you first started doing the training sessions online, I was kind of ambivalent as, I don't know how this is going to work out, but, I think Sarah has done a really fantastic job of making the program work and really enhancing the program because, we talk to her on a regular basis and, what's working and what's not. And, she keeps up with us and, it's been really, really good.
Mine has evolved. When we first started, I thought it was a good complement to the swimming to help me swim faster and train smarter. As Ernie said, I like the diversity of swimming and the dryland. Over the last, I'd say 5 to 6 years, mid 70s and stuff like that, my age wise, it's become more important to do, as Ernie said, as I've gotten older, I realize I lose strength, and I really need to keep my balance up, my core strength up, and stay focused on that. So it has shifted from a swimming importance to a lifestyle, life health importance for me.
Celebrate a birthday recently, and pull-ups had something to do with that. You mind telling our audience what that was all about?
Well, I just wanted to do something for my 72nd birthday that I could remember it by. So I decided that I'd try pull-ups. So my goal was on my birthday, during the course of the day, from the time I got up to before I went to bed, to do 72 pull-ups. So I did 72 pull-ups on that day. I just did them in like sets of 5 or 6. I do 5 or 6, and then I'd come back in about 10, 15 minutes and do 5 or 6 more. So, what the heck? It was something to do. And, I made it, and I didn't feel too bad the next day at all. So I felt pretty good about it. But it was just, something I decided to do. Yeah. One other thing, I don't know if you remember, but the first time we met, after we did that, the assessment, you were asking us kind of what our goals were, and so I told you my goal was to set a world record in the 50-meter free for the 100+ age group. So, that's still my goal. The first thing I got to do is I got to get there. So once I get there, then I can, then I got a shot. But if I don't get there, then I got no shot. So
the other thing that has happened, I used to maybe every now and again get some backaches. And since I've been doing Dryland, I got a strong back. So I don't have any issues with shoulders and backs, things, some of my contemporaries have. And I think the reason for that is because of the Dryland. My message to them is once you get over 70, you're going to lose what you are taking for granted. And so it's not a matter of building up muscles. It's a matter of protecting what you got. And it's a small investment of knowing what to do, and doing it 2 to 3 times a week will pay big dividends.
Getting the most out of our facilities and all that, it's been great for us, and I would recommend it to anyone.
One of the reasons why I went to you first was that it seemed to have all the pieces that were where swimming and the strength and conditioning for swimming is going.
The first part of every session is geared towards injury prevention, especially around the shoulders, and that was lacking in our other program. I mean, every session starts out with injury prevention.
I would sell it on the specificity and the access. Those are two of the biggest highlights to me. With the app, having the program that's set for our kids and the variations in the group, and having the videos on the app is huge.
I think it's been a big help to me as the coach of the group that uses this primarily. I can focus more on the wet side.
The kids that are really taking this surge strength piece and doing it on their own and kind of etching out the time with AP classes, with practice, with whatever else is going on at home, are the real ones benefiting in the long term and not just in the short term. Like, yeah, we're swimming well, but we're also getting set up for success further down the road, and especially as they transition to college and kind of become a little bit more independent. And one thing that I love about the program is that it's definitely a cohesive program. The kids are able to kind of take it and go with it on their own because it's so descriptive and in its nature. I mean, the details are they're right there on your cell phone or your iPad or whatever you're following on. You can look up a video of what you should be doing, how it should look, and maybe what you're looking like in your garage mirror or wherever you are. And does it look the same? Does it not look the same? Are you feeling the results or not? But I would say definitely that 24/7 athlete is starting to evolve in our program in the last 2 years. And
you want to give props because for the company that you have built, Chris, and like the type of people that you have hired to work in this setting virtually, and to partner us with Sam, it really shows kind of an understanding of what you're doing. Because even as he talked there, he's going into the educational side of the training aspects, right? Why does it work? How is it happening? And he's a teacher, right? And being wrapped up in the Petty school, education is at the front of our brains every day. Why are we doing what we're doing? How do we teach that to the kids? It's not about the end result. How many national teamers you have, how many people are going fast, breaking records. We all know that stuff is a byproduct of the foundation that you set up, right? And to have somebody like Sam partnered with us that understands it and is doing it for the right reasons and speaks the same language makes it all work. And that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited about this for the future. And Sam, you better not be going anywhere for a long time.
All right. If you got excited seeing those results, we can do that for you too. Click the link in the description and the show notes here, or go to our website, surgestrength.com. Find the program section on our website, click the orange button, get started now, and then that'll give you that quick form that I talked about that'll allow you to then schedule a audio only call with me so that we can talk more in depth about the program. So that's our number one most popular offering, Dryland programs that we offer at Surge Strength, and our longest running one as well. A more newer one that we've offered since 2020 is our Dryland certification. So that's when you become SSDC, Surge Strength Dryland certified. And honestly, this is mostly for coaches. Every now and then we'll get a parent or self-coach swimmer, maybe a master swimmer that wants to get this, but usually it's coaches. And it is not uncommon for coaches to get Dryland certified and also have us still provide them a Dryland program. Believe it or not, we get much better results with that because the coaches now understand Dryland and the process that we're following, because we follow the same process that I laid out in the curriculum that we do for individual swimmers that come to us in teams. And so now we're able to have a higher level of communication. So let's dive into the details of what the Dryland certification curriculum is all about. Now, it's pretty expansive in terms of 22 hours total of videos to watch, and then there's also quizzes as well. Most of the videos, though, are only 10 to 15 minutes long, so you can take them in little chunks. The idea was to maybe do half hour a day, and if you do at that pace, you'll get through the certification in about a month's time. I broke it up into two main sections as well. The first was the foundations modules. This is your hard sciences, your exercise physiology, movements, things like that. They give you broad strokes of exercise science and strength and conditioning principles that we can then put into swimming specific applications. And that's the second part. Here's how we reverse engineer your Dryland program so it can actually give you results that you want, and more importantly, complement what you're doing in the water. That's one of the biggest errors people make when they're trying to do their Dryland program, is it's too heavy on both swimming and Dryland, and then there's just fatigue. There's no improvement. There's no recovery in that. That's a big part of what we teach you when you become SSDC. We offer a lot of different learning styles as well. So here you'll see the action sheet that you can print off immediately when you're enrolled to become SSDC, so you can check off your progress as you go. The entire course is self-paced as well. So you can knock it out in a weekend if you want. We've had some coaches clear their schedule for a weekend, knock it out, then become SSDC at the end by Monday. Or there are others that take maybe a month, maybe a few months, maybe a year or two, and that's okay. You retain access no matter what, and it's self-paced along the way. You'll get these knowledge check quizzes as well to make sure you're retaining the information as you're going. And then, of course, the final exam before you become certified and get your actual certification. Now, this has worked for a lot of people. I want to roll a clip here of just some of the testimonials we've seen of people becoming SSDC.
I wanted something that I felt like was geared towards swimming.
Took my personal training and it was good, but then it still didn't give me that edge of, okay, I'm going to have to do the extra research to understand exactly how this applies to swimming.
I think that a swim coach that only knows how to swim coach then doesn't know anything.
I think I'm probably similar to a lot of coaches out there. We just run out of time at some point. By the time I want to teach all of this to all of my staff, I can't do that and run a practice and create workouts and do all of those other things.
You can't blame your coaches when they're doing the wrong things in Dryland or the wrong things in the water. When you don't want to invest in your coaches.
Oh, well, that's why I kept getting hurt. I was totally doing that out of context.
You just have to keep on learning all the time, even though you have the knowledge. You have to keep on hearing other people talk about it and seeing their point of view.
There's an abundance of knowledge in here which will make you feel more grounded and more knowledgeable. You'll feel a lot more competent in being able to deliver something like this and put it together.
It's a comfort level of knowing I've got my parameters of where I need to be and what I need them to achieve. And then you've got a whole bunch of resources as well to kind of build that.
Yeah. So the process of learning Surge Strength was a huge value use of my time.
There's accessibility, you have great Q&A sessions and follow-up sessions that they don't have to come to me just for those questions. That you're an immediate resource, and it's a well laid out program that takes away a lot of the initial questions that they have when they come to me anyway.
You'd already laid out the map for me. I didn't need to figure it out.
I mean, the $500 to certify them in something, or the $50 to certify them in something for 1 year of coaching. You know, if you do that every year, you spend $500 a year to make sure that your kids don't get hurt and your staff is a higher quality. And the other thing I found is as you invest in your coaches, they stick around longer.
You're certified in something, you should probably have put some time and effort into it to really learn it. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend the CERT program for any coach that's run a Dryland.
I absolutely recommend.
I would promote the program without a doubt. Anybody that asks, I go ahead and share your information with them and tell them that start here. And I think it's been a huge asset for our program overall. So thank you.
All right, I hope that pumped you up, especially if you're a coach thinking, man, I want a better Dryland culture. So now I'm going to go through just a few of the teams that we have at least one coach become Surge Strength Dryland certified. We're now approaching almost 50 countries represented. It's pretty astonishing to think about that. This only started a few years ago. And so you can see the response. There's a lot of demand out there for better Dryland when it comes to coaches and their programs. So just think if one of your coaches became SSDC, especially if you have a big staff. Eric Peterson, who we've worked with given him a Dryland program, and then he still went and got his whole staff certified, talked about the important puzzle pieces that you can finally put together when you become SSDC and how it starts to all make sense through that. Jim talked about it took the burden off his shoulders of, great, I don't have to worry about, am I doing the right thing when it comes to Dryland, and kind of, moving around in the dark, hoping you don't knock something over or injure your athlete. Besides swim coaches, though, we have a lot of strength and conditioning coaches, personal trainers, or just general performance coaches that want to better understand how do they work with athletes and get results here. Now, this could be a great thing for you if this applies to you, or if maybe you're thinking, we've had some swim coaches even get the certification because they want to start doing more in the general fitness industry as well. So whichever way you're going, this is a great option. Also, we've had a lot of therapists, rehabilitation specialists, and healthcare practitioners enroll to become SSDC, especially if they work with swimmers on any level. Josh here is an athletic trainer up in Alaska, and even in the first module, he was already learning stuff. And this is someone that went to school to learn a lot of the stuff here, but we go swimming specific, and you start to see how everything comes together with strength conditioning principles and what we should do with swimming specific movements and programming. So, who is it not designed for to become SSDC? If you are just kicking the tires on Dryland, I suggest you go to the Surge Strength Academy and sign up for one of our free Dryland 101 courses. We have ones for swimmers, coaches, and parents. It's a pretty quick course. You'll just kind of go through general overview of Dryland. You'll pick up some tips. But if you're just kicking the tires on this Dryland thing, that's where I would send you to. Go to the Surge Strength Academy, register for a free 101 course. If you're looking for magic, sorry, we cannot deliver that in either our Dryland programs or becoming Surge Strength Dryland certified. So we would charge way too much for it, and we still just haven't found that holy grail either is the problem. And if you know it all, you're probably not even listening to this podcast at this point. You probably clipped me off in the first couple minutes, so I'm not worried about that. What I will say, though, is we have been doing this a long time. I remember when we were first doing Dryland, people were still arguing, like, is Dryland that important? Does it make that much of a difference? But especially just the last few Olympic cycles, you see the swimmers, what they look like behind the blocks. You see the actual athletic performances they're able to do. You cannot be a great swimmer and not be a great athlete anymore. It just simply doesn't happen. And so we feel like we have the best track record out there of helping swimmers, helping coaches, and now we're going to give you the roadmap that we've proven decades plus now over, and it's through becoming Surge Strength Dryland certified. It's the same approach I took when I was working with Cullen Jones leading into the Beijing Olympics. Ended up winning a gold medal on that insane relay where Lizak ran down the Frenchman. Phelps kept his medal streak alive there at that Olympics. And the same group too, Mark Gangloff, who's now doing great things at UNC, turning that program and culture around. And Dryland is absolutely a part of it. I hear that all the time from coaches about the culture needs to change. Well, Dryland is your Trojan horse of how you do that. And just see what coaches are around the world are saying about becoming SSDC, how much the swimming community needs a resource like this, because we were the only certification at the time that we came out with this. And now we are trying to continue to lead the way with that, even updating things as things change. But this is one of my favorite testimonials here. So this lady has not only the kind of gold standard, quote unquote, in strength and conditioning general certification in the CSCS, but she also has a master's in strength and conditioning. Even with those two huge pieces, she still could not recommend becoming SSDC enough. That's how much she was blown away by it. So please don't let this intimidate you either. If you have no background like she does, we still will talk to you at a beginner level. At the same time, I felt I struck a good balance of still obviously challenging and giving insights to people that had a lot of education, like this coach in particular. But I want to keep it simple for you to understand, but still provide a lot of value in the curriculum. And so in addition to the curriculum, here's some of the extra things that you get when you enroll to become Surge Strength Dryland certified. You get access to the exercise video library. You get ready-made programming templates that you can print out, adjust as you want. These can be game changers in terms of how quickly you can then create season, weekly, or daily Dryland programs. You got your checklist to make sure you're never going to forget something when you're putting together those programs. And Sarah talked about this, and she had certification from the strength and conditioning realm. So it's not like she didn't know anything, but when she went through our checklist, she realized, oh, this is swimming specific. I've been messing these items up a lot when it comes to the ratios. And as she became SSDC, she was able to see much more clearly how to help her swimmers and make sure they're not getting injured or much less of a risk there. Breaking down periodization can be really intimidating and challenging sometimes, but I've condensed it down to one sheet here that you can go over and comb over, and it's really going to help you with that. And talked about how it was so much easier because of all these templates that she had when she enrolled to become SSDC. And so now she's able to help swimmers so much more. The movement assessments and performance tests that I talked about earlier that we have every individual athlete go through when they start a Dryland program for us, we're going to teach you everything about that process, what to look for, how to then work with it if you find any issues. You're literally seeing how our Dryland certified coaches approach Dryland programming. So you're seeing behind the curtain here. And Guy, who's a swim coach over in Israel, he talked about 2 days into this curriculum, he's already implementing stuff with his swimmers and more importantly, seeing results from it. Now, one item that's kind of tricky, especially for coaches that coach, the 11 to 14 age group is, all right, what do I do in that? When do they lift weights? When do they not? Stuff like that. I'm going to give you standards to go by both for age group and senior swimmers. And we also address that question specifically. There are a number of lessons that talk about when should swimmers, quote unquote, lift. So we talk about all those things in the SSDC curriculum. Give you warm-up routines to avoid injuries. Give you ideas on and templates of how to do energy or metabolic Dryland sessions if you don't have access to water. And then lastly, this is huge for clubs, equipment recommendations. So especially depending on your budget, I've broken it down to shoestring budget, kind of average budget, or to the moon budget, and what you can then get with that budget, the best ideas and equipment pieces for that. And it can evolve over time as well. That's also a service that we offer as part of our Dryland programs when we onboard teams in particular. So if you're a coach, and in the last year or so, we've had a number of teams sign up with us that then had a set aside budget for equipment, and our Dryland certified coaches that were working with them made sure that then they were able to maximize their budget for that. So then here's a really valuable thing that you're going to get out of becoming SSDC2 is I went back through the archives, and sometimes it was years long, guys, where I found what were some of the best case studies that you can then follow in my footsteps to see, oh, that's why we did the programming that way. And so you're really going to understand the intricacies and the art of how to dance around with the Dryland programming, because again, it's always complementing the water. If you forget about what you're doing in the water, your Dryland program is always going to be less effective. But time and again, we've seen coaches getting results, enjoying becoming certified, and more importantly, what it can do for their swimmers and their overall program. I keep coming back to culture, culture, culture. If you're worried about your culture or you want it to be better, Dryland is a great avenue to help change that. Jim again talked about how huge of a value it was to learn the system that we teach here. Again, we're giving you behind the curtain access of how we've gotten so much success with Dryland programs over the years with individuals and teams. We're now showing you how to do that for your team Or if you're like a master swimmer and you're interested in getting certified, we always have a couple of those every now and then. That's a great option as well. But it's a whole new process to think about Dryland, and we're going to show you it and give you the roadmap through when you become SSDC. So let's break it down a little bit here. I gave you all the extras in addition to the curriculum that you're going to get. So if we separated these out individually, and we've been doing this a while now, selling products and courses online, this is legitimately what we could charge for this course, and it would be worth it in terms of the value you're getting. But I want to make sure that it's affordable to as many coaches as possible out there so we can continue to get how to do Dryland better out to the masses and then helping the swimmers in particular. So it's a great value. Make sure that you budget this too in advance. We only open the gates, the open enrollment opportunities a couple times a year to become SSDC. So you have time to save up a little bit to be able to make sure that you can then enroll when the time happens. Going back to Guy, one of the points he made that I thought was excellent was even with 30 kids, there's a lot of diversity in terms of the abilities within that. But when he became SSDC, he started to see how to think through individualizing group training. Going back to the pricing of the certification, Jim said this is a no-brainer. It's absolutely worth it what you get versus what you pay. And think about if you got your whole staff even certified as well. It could really be a game changer. Eric talked about how important that was because they're all on the same page now. They can communicate about, okay, what's Jimmy doing in this group here? Well, how's Johnny doing over here? Or Susie over there? Now all the coaches can speak the same language when it comes to Dryland training and programming. So really consider enrolling to become SSDC, especially if you're a swim coach. And we only have those opportunities a few times a year. The next one is coming up in the first week of May. Go to our website, surgestrength.com, to find out more information and join the waitlist. But going back to these testimonials, Kareen talked about how when we were in the midst of the shutdown and they didn't have access to pools for a few weeks, they just focused on Dryland. Then they get back in the water, swimming faster than ever. Dryland can make such a difference. And when you become SSDC, you're no longer just winging it. You're actually putting into practice what we have seen works with whether it's Olympians or age groupers. And so you'll know and have confidence that it's going to be better. Sarah talked about that peace of mind, right? And she knows, all right, I'm doing the best I can for my athletes, and I'm not having to, close my eyes and hope there's not going to be an injury or something like that. Going back to Josh again, somebody that has so much schooling and knowledge still got out so much value from becoming SSDC. And at the end of the day, if your swimmers have fun, it's going to be a better experience. So I challenge you, if these emojis, if those emotions, if the words don't resonate with you and Dryland, think about how you can change that. One option, like I said, our most popular is our Dryland programs. It's always a great time to contact us about that and signing up and getting you started. Again, it's a free call with me. What do you have to lose? We'll see if it's a good fit or not. And I'll tell you honestly, if it's not a good fit. The other option too, or combine like some coaches are doing, Dryland program for their team and become Surge Strength Dryland certified, SSDC behind your name, get that certification. But more importantly, giving your athletes in a program a new appreciation for Dryland and watch your culture turn around there. So all the information can be found on our website, surgestrength.com. Go to surgestrength.com/certification if you specifically want to make sure you can get that next open enrollment details. There's a SSDC waitlist. You can go ahead and join that as well. And like I said, the programs, we open those year round. Not a problem whenever you want to sign up. Just go to our website, program section, and schedule a quick call with me. Thanks, guys. This is Chris from Surge Strength, and I hope to connect with you soon.